Hey there, welcome back to Excel Guys tutorial, and today I'm going to do the lookup function. So lookup is a pretty old school function actually in Excel. It should be available for most versions, I believe. I can't remember when exactly it came out, but it's kind of been there since the dawn of days. So basically you put in a value that you want to look up. Now let's just say in this case we're going to use an approximation because we're going to put in someone's score and we're going to figure out their grade. So if I come up here and say someone scored, let's say 47. Now we're going to do equals lookup. We're going to look for this 47. And we're going to look, our lookup vector is going to be the grade boundaries, right? And our result vector is going to be the grades. So what this is going to do is it's basically going to look at 47. It's then going to look in this column here. And it will say, okay, it's greater than 0, go to the next one. Greater than 40, go to the next one. It's not greater than 50 or equal to 50, so therefore it gets pushed to this one here. So it's picking up the 40 now, and then our return vector is looking at the C column, the equivalent in the C column, so it's going to return E in this case. Now just a note about this, your lookup vector and your result vector must contain the same amount of elements, so in this case B4 to 10 and C4 to 10. So they're the same size, just transpositioned by one column. So that's fine. So if I made this C11, it's still going to take it. And that's because I thought it had to be the same. Anyway, that's not a problem. We'll leave it as that. Okay, on to the next one. So just check if this works. So going through it. One thing about this is if you go to negatives, you're not going to get anything back. You're going to get an error because it's looking for -5 here. It's not actually picking up even the first one because it's less than the first one. So therefore it's going to pick up an error there. However, when you get above the highest one, it doesn't matter too much. It just keeps going. So yeah, we'll leave that one there. Okay, so now we'll move on to the second example where we've got a list of different fruits and confectionaries, and we want to pick up the last item from this list. Now, I'm actually going to do something here where I put the lookup value as a 2, and then I'm going to do 1 divided by the vector. Now the vector is going to return true or falses when I give it criteria. So if I do 1 divided by true or falses, I'm either going to get 1 or an error. So let's do 1 over, and let's use the whole column. Let's say that's not equal to blank. We don't want blank. And then if I pick up the result vector as the same vector, which you can do, that's fine. So what this is going to do is basically look at the H column, and wherever it's not blank, it gets a value of 1 from this part of the array. Now I'm going to do 1 divided by that. So basically where I have a value, it picks up a 1. Otherwise it's going to pick up an error. Now this lookup is looking for the value 2 in this array of 1s and errors. And because what we've seen here is it approximates to the previous one, it's going to do the same here. So all the 1s, it's going to approximate, and then it's going to pick up 2. So it's basically going to pick up the last one of this. In this case, the last one is chocolate, because that's the last time there's text in this column. So we should get chocolate returned, which is true. So I won't highlight it because it's the whole column, but if you did it, if we did a range, let's say if we did do the header to the bottom, so H3 to 15. So if we do that, same answer, but we can analyze this easier. So if I highlight this part of the formula, press F9, you see there we got the 1s and the divided by zeros. So we've got 1 where there's text, and then we've got divided by 0 where there's blanks. That's where I specified in the array that it must not be equal to blank. Otherwise it will pick up a false, and 1 divided by false is error. So there you go, you got all these 1s, you got these errors, so it's basically looking for the value 2 in this array of 1s and errors. 2 doesn't actually exist, so it approximates, and the nature of lookup is to take the last approximation. So it's looking through all of these, and it'll go to this one here, right at the end. So therefore it'll pick up the last one. Now this will correlate here in the result vector to H15, as this is the last one here. So it returns H15, which is chocolate. So if chocolate was blank, it would return sweets, or 0. That's because I've put it into this format. So if I go back a little bit just here, 1 over h3 to h15 not equal to blank. Now that will return sweets. So I put it back into its original form. So when I add the chocolate back in, it will change. Or if I took out chocolate and sweets, it would go to biscuits. So it picks up the last non-empty cell in the column, which is pretty handy. Now to get the last row, we do almost exactly the same. So we look at the value 2 again, and we do 1 divided by, take the array, say it's not equal to blank, and then instead of returning that array, we're going to return a row of the array. So it knows to return h15, but now I'm taking the row of h15, the row that chocolate lies in, which is 15. So the last used row that has text in column H is 15. So again, that's pretty cool. And if I take chocolate out, I'm going to get sweets 14. If we take sweets out, I'm going to get biscuits 12. So that's pretty neat. And we can actually, I'm not going to go into it too much, but you can put an address in here, and this will basically return a cell reference. So if we've used this as the row number, we've got the last used row in H, basically from this formula, as our row number, which is 12 in this case. And let's say we wanted to return the first row. This is going to give us A12. Now let's say we had hello world in A12. To return that value, we can just do an indirect on this. So yeah, there you go. But we're not going to do that because it's not really part of this tutorial. So I'm going to take those out and leave it at 12 and take this back out. So that is the lookup function. Thank you guys for watching.